Hello my brush lads, lasses, and everybody in between. My name is Tyler, and for today's Commander Deck Tech, we are looking at Sisay, Weatherlight Captain, specifically focused on the 11 legendary enchantments spread out between Kamigawa and M21, the Shrines. We'll cover those in a minute, but first let's take a look at our commander. Sisay, Weatherlight Captain, is 2 and a white for a legendary 2/2 human soldier. She gets +1/+1 for each color among other legendary permanents we control, and for the full Wooburg, we can search our library for a legendary permanent card with mana value less than Sisay's power and put it onto the battlefield. Luckily for us, our primary strategy revolves around 11 legendary permanent cards. The 11 legendary shrines are divided between the 5 Hondens from Kamigawa and the 6 Sanctums from M21. Each one has an ability that scales with the amount of shrines we control, and with one exception, each group has one in each color. Each of the Hondens triggers on our upkeep, while the Sanctums trigger on our main phase. The 5 Hondens are the Honden of Cleansing Fire, Honden of Infinite Rage, Honden of Life's Web, Honden of Night's Reach, and Honden of Seeing Winds. Cleansing Fire gains us 2 life for each shrine we have. Infinite Rage hits a creature or player for damage equal to our shrines. Life's Web makes 1/1 colorless spirits for each shrine. Night's Reach makes an opponent discard a card for each shrine, and Seeing Wind draws us a card for each shrine. On the other end, we have the 6 Sanctums, 1 for each color and 1 that's all 5 colors. These are the Sanctum of Calm Waters, which lets us choose to draw cards equal to the amount of shrines we have and then discard a card if we do. Fruitful Harvest, which adds X mana of a single color equal to our shrines. Shattered Heights, which lets us pay 1 and pitch a card to hit a creature or planeswalker for damage equal to our shrines, though we can only pitch a land or a shrine card. Stone Fangs, which drains each opponent for our shrine count and gains us life equal to our shrine count. And Tranquil Light, which can tap down creatures at a rate reduced by our shrine count. Our final shrine, the 5-colored Sanctum of All, lets us search our graveyard or library on our upkeep for any shrine and put it into play. Then, if we control 6 or more shrines, all of our shrine triggers get triggered an additional time. The amount of value that this can generate for us can be backbreaking and game-ending. So, let's look over the rest of the deck to see how we can get our win cons and keep them safe. Since our primary win con is enchantment based, most of the deck is built around enchantments. If important enchantments end up being destroyed or end up in our graveyard, we can use cards like Hana Ship's Navigator, Griffin Dreamfinder, Gen Arcane Weaver, Trusty Retriever, Sun Titan, Crystal Chimes, Open the Vaults, Rise to Glory, and Triumphant Reckoning to get them all out of our graveyard and either back into our hand or back onto the field. Now ideally, we'd like to pull our enchantments out of our deck rather than our graveyard. Zur the Enchanter, Idyllic Tutor, Plea for Guidance, Abundance, and Whirlwind of Thought can either help us dig through our deck or even just grab the silver bullets that we need at that time. Okay, so now we've got a handful of gas, but how are we going to cast it? Being in 5 colors means that we have to have access to all of our colors at any given time. Azusa and Dryad of the Elysian Grove give us extra land drops, while the Dryad also fixes our mana. On top of that, we have loads of ramp in Burnished Heart, Karametra, Solemn Simulacrum, Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, Harrow, Cultivate, Rampant Growth, Abundant Growth, Colony Heart Expedition, Omen of the Hunt, and Utopia Sprawl to get us all the mana that we could ever want. Additionally, we have a unique mana rock in Honor Worn Shaku. It taps for a colorless, but we can tap an untapped legendary permanent to untap it, essentially turning all of our legendary permanents into mana rocks themselves. With such a heavy reliance on enchantments, we'd be remiss to not include some enchantment payoffs. Ajani's Chosen and Alayla Artful Provocateur provide us with bodies as we play enchantments, while Daxos the Return builds up experience counters that we can use to power up the enchantment spirits that he makes. Our last card in this category is the Planeswalker, Calyx. who can dig for enchantments, turn our existing enchantments into removal spells, and ultimate to return all enchantments from our graveyard back to the battlefield. Once we get the ball rolling, we are going to be scary, so we're going to want to keep ourselves and our board as safe as possible. Boros Charm can grant indestructibility to our entire board, while Supreme Verdict can wipe all creatures without the threat of being countered. The 5-colored Circles of Protection can prevent damage from specific colored sources for a single mana a pop. Darksteel Mutation is a powerful way of turning off threatening creatures, while Karmic Justice can threaten to blow up anything in retaliation to an opponent blowing up our stuff. Sterling Grove pulls double duty, protecting all of our enchantments or sacrificing itself to let us search our library for an enchantment. Propaganda taxes our opponents who try to attack us. And finally, we have Mirror Maid to basically copy any of these. Before moving on to our land base, let's cover the last 5 non-land cards in our deck that didn't quite fit the previous categories. Fate Spinner is a fun little creature that can act as an annoying source of disruption on our opponent's turn. Garth One-Eye grants us access to 5 additional spells that don't need deck slots. Thran Temporal Gateway is a cheap and easy way to cheat out our shrines, though it also encompasses the rest of our legendary and/or artifact permanents. Blood Sun turns off troublesome utility lands, and our final non-land card is probably the most powerful in the deck. Paradox Haze gives us an extra upkeep trigger. Normally that wouldn't be very strong, but since most of our shrines trigger on our upkeep, we get to double up those triggers again. For our land base, our focus is on getting access to all of our colors as soon as we can. A fun way to do that, as well as to give us an alternate win con, is through Maze's End and the 11 available gates that we have. Command Tower taps for any of our colors, and Exotic Orchard can tap for any color our opponent's lands can produce. For fetches, we run Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse, and Myriad Landscape to help fix our mana, while not also being the most efficient method, we do also have Study Hall to filter our mana and to help us scry deeper into the deck. Our utility lands include Hall of Heliod's Generosity for enchantment recursion, Reliquary Tower to hold on to all the cards that our blue shrines draw, Sanctum of Eternity to protect Sisay from instant speed removal, and Temple of the False God for ramp. Top things off with 2 basic plains, 2 basic islands, 1 basic swamp, 2 basic mountains, and 9 basic forests, and we are ready to go. Thank you for joining me on this take on Sisay. I've wanted to do something with the shrines ever since I heard that we were getting more in M21, and since then I've been putting this deck together because they're a fun theme to build around. Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Shoot us a like, leave us a sub, and we will catch you next time. Peace!